see the course content. Okay. All right, guys, welcome you all. I believe uh, some students are going to join, might be they busy in the Palo Alto session that is starting 9:30. So no problem. We just have to see how it is going to be managed later stage. But welcome you all in today's session, and we are going to start a very fresh F5 batch, right? And I'm just going to explain what all kind of the content we are going to cover. And I have the Arvind sir who is going to take care of this entire module. And he's going to discuss step by step all the process, how the F5 is going to look like and how the labs is going to work. You can see this is a Gunit lab. So you just have to get your username and password. And then after a start, you just doing your labs. So these all things we are going to discuss step by step, how the lab and everything is going to work, and it is going to be accessible from the anywhere. Means whatever you have the devices like Mac, Window, or some other devices, just need a browser and internet connectivity, and this lab is going to be accessible. Exactly the same interface you are going to get, and probably this interface is going to be a little bit changed because we are in the designing phase. So we are implementing some interface related coloring and all. So that is going to be changed. Rest everything is going to be same. And if you have any query, why I'm saying that, in case if you have any query, any doubt, so just reach out on this number, just click on the WhatsApp or call us, right? Somebody is going to definitely get back to you for any kind of the query like course, training, labs, or also we have the support number. Let me write it here. Just giving the brief so you guys can have the idea. So the support numbers, if you have anything like related to the +91928968 2701. So this is the support number, right? So if you have any kind of the problem, if you require any kind of the support, you just reach out to on these numbers, right? So it is going to be helpful for, real-time supports. Let's talk about this F5, right? So why F5 is very important for everyone, and what kind of the learning we are going to get in this through F5 journey. So guys, F5 is something very important. If you are the network engineer, network security engineer, so you can understand the importance of the F5. F5 is something, without F5 you are watching any kind of the Netflix movies, you are watching any kind of the real-time Hotstar streaming, Geo streaming, any live matches, any platform. How this concurrent connection are getting load balanced, right? How seamlessly millions of user, billions of user is watching the any kind of the live streaming media. So if there is a no F5 available, trust me, it is going to be very challenging for the any industry to run their real-time streaming media, right? So that's why F5 is something. F5 LTM means there is a lot of module in the F5. If that sir is going to explain, I'm just giving the brief idea because actually sir have to explain each and everything. So F5 have the multiple module, right? So F5 have the LTM, that is known as the load balancer, right? F5 have the GTM, that is for the again DNS related load balancing. If you want to do that, that is possible. F5 have the ASM, that is a security module. That is basically going to act as a web firewall, that is application level of firewalls, right? So in this module, we are going to discuss and target just F5 LTM. Later on, we'll add for the GTM and ASM as well. That is advanced level of this further F5 modules. So we are not going to cover that, but we are just going to focus F5 LTM. Then we'll add the next module, and then we go for the third module. So that is going to happen step by step. So in the Gwinnett technology, right, we have designed the course content in such a way so that you are going to get real time testing for the application, real time load balancing, real time configuration, deploying a strategy, troubleshooting a strategy. Like configuration means different use cases. So if you are the network engineer, if you've done the CCNA, if you've done the CCNP, if you've done the any kind of the sort of the security certification, and then you are going to add on top of the F5, it's going to give you the very right skill set and in demand skill set in the market. And that's the most important because people are hiring the engineers who have the kind of the multi skill set, not like the single skill set, CCNA, CCNP. It's a basic startup is fine. But if you want to scale up your professional journey, if I'm talking the scale up means you want to add some key skills, which is the high demand key skills. That's one is the F5 is there. So if you want to earn more, if you want to grow in the different segment in a different company to just monitor and the maintain and the configuration and troubleshoot the large scale infrastructure, you have to add this key skill in your portfolio. That's why at least F5 LTM you should know, because it's a very popular product. And trust me, if I just go on the Naukri.com, if I'll just show you jobs and packages, you'll be surprised like how many jobs are available and packages. F5 LTM related jobs. So if I just go on the Naukri.com, you're going to find that lot of F5 LTM related jobs are available. You can see work from home, remote, lot of jobs are available. All are the F5 LTM. So if you're going to apply, you are going to get very good jobs in the any level. Like if you have the any kind of the experience, let's suppose I filter out like 0 to 7, just normal engineers, right? So you are going to five year, you can see 3 years experience, 7 year experience, right? So 5 years, 6 years. So basically F5 is something where you are just going to learn after your CCNA, CCN. It's not recommended to just start learning F5 in an initial stage. At least you should have the basic networking and security knowledge. And then if you're going to correlate this F5, then you are going to add something very good flavor in your CV. So a lot of jobs are available and these are the high paid jobs. It's not like something 3 lakhs, 5 lakh job. No, it's not like that. If you're going to add, you're going to get more and more salary, right? So in this module, right, I'm not going to take much time further. So we are going to give like GoNet is basically going to give entire training program where you're going to at least 2 months and 2.5 months of these trainings. We are going to deliver this training via the online and real lab scenarios, right? So that you are going to become a master of the F5. And most important thing, what you're going to learn throughout this journey. That's the most important thing. So you should know if I'm going to attend this training module, what kind of the learning outcome I'm going to get there. So in the learning outcome, you can see here, first you understand about the big IP LTM. What is a big IP LTM? Then you're going to understand like different hardware architectures. Then you understand what is a node, what is a pool member, what is a virtual server, how these are going to be configured, type of single arm, we have the develop deployment method also. So you just have to understand how this deployment is going to happen, how self IP is going to be created, how the VLANs is going to be created, how the routing is going to be created, how dashboard is going to look, how HA is going to be, load balancing mechanism, a lot of load balancing method we have, how it is going to happen. So we see there are a lot of load balancing method, right? So these are list preference, fastest, static, right? So these all are predictive also, wait list connections. So these are the different kind of the methods you should know that. Certification means how the certification update is going to happen, what is the best practice, how certificate is going to apply particular node or pool and server group in case of the expiration, right? How the OS upgradation is going to happen means if you have the any kind of the patch upgradation, hotfix upgradation for the F5, then how it is going to be applied, right? You should know about that, because these are the day-to-day activities you have to perform in your organization. And if you don't have the knowledge about that, then probably you are going to struggle, right? So these are health monitoring, how it is going to be happen. Different event we have the HTTP based health monitoring, other props, DNS we have, ICMP we have. So we just have to understand which health monitoring is going to happen for the which scenario and why it is going to be used, and content check monitor method we have. And then we'll discuss about that health monitoring, testing, status sample and monitor. So these are the like things. Initially in 22 modules, you can see a lot of things, network map, right? Also, you're going to get there. Then profile introduction, you are going to get source address we have the SNet and the source address persistence. We have profile, we have NAT overview, SNet auto map, how it is going to work, how the NAT IP is going to be configured. SSL, how it is going to be look like, offloading, termination, client SSL in the big IP, how it is going to happen. Priority, like fallback host mechanism in the F5, one connect mechanism, local logging, remote logging, and the high speed logging, SNMP configuration, TCP UDP dump, how it is going to be like take out from this particular F5. Sale access management, I rule, that's the most important and most intelligent feature available in the F5. That also you're going to understand. High availability. because every F5 need to be in redundant modes. Then how high availability is going to be configured and what is the feature behind it? That also you have to understand about this high availability. So means you can see the varieties of topics. Trust me, if you are going to understand each and everything from this particular module, you are going to be expert of the F5. And this is not something the only course content. We design in such way, sir is going to cover in such way, you are going to get the best industry like learning experience. And still, if you have any doubt, we'll have to make sure like you will arrange the additional session and we'll make sure that everything should be completed, right? Then you can see like we are going to end with the troubleshooting, upgrades, QQ views, USB back and restore, user connection priorities. So this all status like total 45 modules we have, means different topics we have, different sections we have, and in these modules we have the multiple subsections. So it is going to be very intense and detailed training. So at the end of the training, you are going to get entire flavor of the F5. That's the most important, guys. If I talk about the labs, right? So this is the most important thing also, because once you've done the learning, because today, let's suppose you have some sessions. Let's suppose today sir is going to explain how the management interface is going to be configured. Then you also have to perform the hands-on labs, right? So these labs are going to be accessible. Like I show in the beginning stage. So let's say suppose this is a lab. So you are going to get the lab URL. This lab, let's suppose this is a lab URL. So you are going to just access this lab URL. And after accessing this lab URL, it is going to look like in this way. So you are going to get like Gwinnett branding. You have to put the username and password. And then you just have to let's suppose I'm going to use the admin because I'm the admin user, but you are going to get the users based on your names. And you have some special role as well, means what kind of the roles you can perform, because labs have a lot of kind of the labs, CCI lab, CCNA lab, Palo Alto lab, FortiGate lab, Zscaler lab. A lot of labs are available, but you are going to get those labs and those permissions which is relevant for you, not like admin level. So once I log in it, you just have to put your this captcha, sorry. And after you just have to log in it. After login, right? Let's suppose I just go here. So we have the lot of lab here. You can see F5 lab is not in this particular section. Sorry for that. So basically we can create F5 lab. Let's suppose I want to create F5 lab. So I can create F5 test lab here. So I just add it. Let me, so I just have to add the nodes, right? So we just have to get the F5 nodes, which is not available in this section, right? But you're going to get the labs, and based on that lab, you're just going to do the labs. So probably after logging in the lab, let me log into the another rack. Let me log in this one if I have this. We have the lab.
We can log in on 2021, I guess.
Okay. Let me see if I have this one.
2121.
21, right? Okay. Let me search. Yeah. 2121. Yeah. Thank you, sir. So let me log in it. And yeah, so you can see here in this lab, you just have F5 LTM lab. So different labs we have, and you are going to get the access. So like Arvind sir, labs are here. Let's suppose we have any labs I want to test it. Let's suppose I want to configure any F5 LTM. So you can see this is the
No,
Polo.
you need to go to the this again F5 folder
Okay.
back, and these are the labs here.
Two arms. Just think this is two arms labs, right? So you have these are the F5 LTM connected with switches and routers. So you guys can do the live practice because labs are very important. So if you have the like HA scenario, so you can just configure the two. I believe there is one or two master labs are going to be there where all type of scenarios going to be tested. Okay. So you just have to start these labs. Once you start these labs, this F5 LTM, real F5 LTM means everything like it's going to be same because the real image you are using here, the virtual image only it is. And this is how it is going to use in the industry as well. It's not like always you have to find the physical boxes. No, physical era has been gone. Everything is working in the industry right now, either Palo Alto, SD-WAN, routers, switches. Most of the cases we are using the virtual images because we are deploying our data center in the cloud. Cloud doesn't have any physical infrastructure. They just require the resources in the cloud infrastructure and they deploy the virtual images, and that is going to solve your all problem. Same thing is going to happen here as well. You don't have to worry about anything, and this is going to be solve your all problem, and this is going to give the real license flavor for the all kind of the configuration, troubleshooting, and the traffic processing. Exactly same kind of the flavor. So labs, you are going to do that. And based on these labs, you can do a lot of testing, and these labs are going to be available till the time you have the trainings. More almost 2.5 months, you're going to get this lab access. Still, in some scenario, if you have any doubt, any challenges about the labs, reach out to us, right? We are humans, right? And we understand the engineer's pain, like might be on the night shift, you're not able to do the labs. Just let us know. We'll give some extension. That's absolutely possible, right? But yes, initially you're going to get 2.5 months lab or till the session you are running, right? So minimum 2.5. If session is going to more than that, still you have the labs. In case of the worst scenario, reach out to us. We'll try to give 1 or 2 week extension as well based on your choices. These labs are basically 24 into 7. Means these labs you can access anytime, anywhere. Means from anywhere. Means you are traveling, you are in the hill station, you are in the native place. Just require the internet. These labs are going to be accessed. To access this lab, there is no prerequisite. You can do via your office laptops. If you have the not VPN connected or there is no any kind of blocking for the domains, most of the case, 98% case, we have seen no problem. But some organization have this special kind of the prerequisite. In that scenario, might be you're not able to open this URL. In case of the finance or some other security related company, they not do allow that. But most of the scenario, you're going to access from the any browser, any company laptop, any kind of the internet connectivity. So you just require this internet browser and it's going to be accessible and you can just access this lab, right? And this 24 into 7 lab access. Still any doubt, any questions you have regarding the lab and you feel like I'm not getting any support, lab is not working, still you can reach out this support number. This is support number. You can see these are two support numbers. Try to reach 01 is dedicated hotline, right? So whatever you have problem, just reach out on this number. Someone is going to definitely pick or someone is going to reply you and they are going to solve your all problems. Okay. So you can do the hands-on lab and all everything. And definitely the job role and career path, right? This is the, as I explained in the beginning of this particular session, we are regularly conducting the career counseling session. Also, we are regularly updating the audience about the upcoming jobs, means whatever the industry jobs available in the market. Regular basis, you check the WhatsApp status on the same number, right? Either of the number, you just have to check the WhatsApp status. You just check our the YouTube as well. So if you just go on the our YouTube, probably you have the regular updates on the YouTube. Let me show you if I can show you. So if you go on the YouTube channel also, right? So these YouTube channels are basically always going to be updated with the latest. You just have to follow the communities, right? So in communities, what is going to happen? Any latest update like batches, when it is going to start, any kind of job alerts, quizzes, a lot of things you are going to get from here. So you just have to follow the community pages. You have the regular update. At least you are going to enjoy the quizzes. That's the most important. Let's suppose you are in any of the industry. So you're going to get that this is a quiz related to the any kind of the SASE platform. So which 40 SASE feature ensure the least privileged user access to all the applications. So you just have to guess the right answer. We have two options. You want to go with the poll, then we go with the poll as well, right? And you just want to go with your comment, that is also available. So we just give the flavors where you can just add your all insights, your knowledge. You want to interact. Someone is going to tech person is going to monitor this all. Sometime we also add if you have any kind of confusions. So that's also increase your learning experience. That's the most important, guys, because you just have to be always updated what is happening in the industry if you want to go in the next level of your career. That's the most important. That's why professional development is a very important. And we just try to always give the right things where you can just get the right knowledge. And we are connected with the across the globe professionals. We are going to give like a lot of insight what is happening in the global market, what is happening in the job position in the global market, some visa related issues, some kind of the migration related issue. That is also we have experience because we are connected globally across all the countries. So we have some sort of the like kind of the connections, which is really helpful for the IT professionals in terms of the even non-training part. Like someone is shifted in the Canada, right? And we have the multiple use cases. Some people are shifted in the USA, some people are shifted in the Germany. They are basically from the India or some other neighboring country. And now they shifted, they have the migrated visa, but they are struggling for the, kind of key, how I can get the jobs. So we have the local contacts there because they are our students, professionals. So we reach out to them, we give them resume and they refer them for the jobs. So that's also help as a community. So that's also a good thing, right? like how understand the potential global career opportunity and mobility within the networking industry. So this like 80% we have the connectivity where when someone have a requirement, we reach out our global community. We have the special global community where WhatsApp group is there. We have the Telegram group for the global peoples, any visa related something. So we try to help them and we try to at least give them free guidance so that they can get something better opportunity. So that's all from my side, right? And thank you so much, guys, for your time. And now, if you have any question, you can just visit website and write email or reach out to us, and we are going to help you all. So now I'm handing over this to Arvind sir, and he is going to further take over this particular meeting. So Arvind sir, I'm making the host. Please go ahead and start your session. Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks.
Let me.
So
Yeah.
let me just share my screen. Okay. Can anyone just check and confirm that screen is visible?
Yeah, it is visible.
Okay. Thanks for confirming. So Vishal sir already told lots of thing about the F5. Okay. So let me start with the F5. So first of all, welcome to all of you in the F5 training. So like in the F5, F5 is the company. Okay. F5 is the company. It's not a product on all, but on the F5, they have the product called Big IP, right? And on the Big IP, they have some module like LTM, GTM, ASM, APM, or SSLO, even though many more, right? So on this course, basically we will cover only the LTM, which is called local traffic manager, right? And you will learn the LTM, but in the LTM, what we will do, we will configure the device, which is our F5 big IP LTM, right? From scratch. Okay. So you will learn how this device have the features and how it's behaving. So once we will go to the lab, and also you will see on the big IP we have this is the single module, but we can enable the other module as well. Okay. So you will learn lots of things. Okay, but you will learn only the LTM module, right? So let's move further. First of all, we will talk about about the F5, then we will move forward. Okay. So F5 Networks. Okay. So this is the company name, right? It's a US based technology company that provide product and services and help customer to secure and create the operate applications, right? So right now the company name is F5 Networks, but earlier they have the name F5 Lab, right? And basically F5 was founded in 1996 and its headquarters in the Seattle, Washington. Okay. It has right now 75 offices in the 43 country, right? F5 originally offered application delivery controller, which is called ADC technology, but expanded into the application layer, automation, multi-cloud, and security services nowadays, right? So, and F5 launched their first product in the 1997, right? So you see F5 originally named F5 Labs and formally branded to the F5 networks. Okay. And they have launched their first product in in the 1997, okay, which is called Big IP, right? Big IP serve the purpose of the reallocating server traffic away from the overloaded server. So we will learn that how means overloaded servers we can we can reduce the load from the servers, right? Let's move further. So what would be the agenda in this course? Okay, what we will cover. So we will cover introduction of the big IP system, right? So I told you that, for example, this is your big IP, right? This is your big IP box. So we will learn complete things, but on this box, we have features the local traffic manager, but we have the other features network, right? System, right? And device management, right? So these all these points you will cover, or you will see in all module, it may be your LTM module, it may be your GTM module, it may be your APM module, it may be your ASM module, right? And under the systems, we have the option user creation, right? Partition creation. And if you need to upgrade, so we will also cover the upgrade. So you will learn about the 100% of big IP and 100% of the LTM, right? If you want to go further, that we are planning also GTM, ASM as well, and APM as well. So this is the single module, so you can easily learn. Okay, you will see once we will log in into the device, we will show you. So we will cover all big IP, okay, and under the big IP we will cover the LTM. Okay, we have the TMOS architecture. So TMOS is nothing but it's a the operating system which we will use on the F5, right? So initial setup and components, right? We will do the lab from scratch, we will deploy the F5, right? And then we will configure the management. Then we will do the license part, right? Then we will do the network part. So we will do everything, right? Load balancing. Once we will ready our device, we need to decide how we can do the load balancing. So we have the static load balancing, right? Dynamic load balancing. Under the static dynamic, we have lots of features, right? Like round robin. So we will cover everything. Types of monitor, right? And why we require. So in the F5, basically big IP, LTM, or whatever the module you will use, we need to create the monitor as well, right? So monitor is nothing but it will keep track your pool, right? Your pool member. Maybe right now you will not understand that what is the pool, what is the pool member, but yeah, slowly when we will cover the course, so you will learn what is the node. So in the interview, people also ask what is the difference between the node and pool member, right? So here you will learn lots of things, and definitely if you follow me, you can crack any interview in the LTM, right? And if someone asks what is the how you can do the upgrade, you can just tell them after this complete course. And even though migration also we will cover, right? How we can take the backup, right? It may be your UCS backup, it may be your SCF backup, right? So we will discuss what is the difference between SCF and UCS, right? And so in the monitor, we will create the monitor, different type monitor, active monitor, okay, and others monitor. So we will see. So service monitor, content monitor. If you want to monitor any service, for example TCP, so you need to create the monitor. If you want to monitor any content, for example, you have any file like index.html on your server, backend server, you want to keep monitor this one. So we can create the monitor, and we can keep monitor this file, right? Okay. So no,
I'm sorry, your voice is very feeble.
on the what is the profile, for example, right? Okay. So we have the SSL profile, right? Under the SSL profile, maybe so you heard about SSL offloading, right? SSL pass through, maybe SSL bridge, right? So we will do the practical of every lab, how SSL offloading will work, how SSL pass through will work, how SSL bridging will work, right? So we will cover everything. And also the cookies persistence, source persistence, destination persistence. So we will cover everything. Also we will cover net and SNet, right? So net, we have the net network address translation we are using in the Cisco devices, right, or any other devices. So we have the net, but also we have the SNet in the F5, right? So in the SNet, basically once we will configure the topology, maybe 1 hour mode, okay, 2 hour mode, then we will use where we need to use the SNet, right? In the SNet, we have the features if you select the SNet, you need to choose none. You need to choose auto map, or you need to choose SNet pool, right? So we will discuss more about the SNet, and definitely trust me, SNet is interviewer ask because once you configure the top means your network and devices everything, and your traffic is not flowing, then you require SNet, right? So this we will cover, and these are the main headings, okay. But under this we have sub points, right? So in the load balancing, we have the static load balancing and dynamic load balancing. In the static, we have lots of round robin and ratio, here least connection, fastest connection, and so also, and we have the priority group and everything. So don't assume that okay, these are the very basic means points. This is the points, but we have the sub points as well, right? uh, just move further, right? I rule. So I rule is the, we can say, script, or we can say the language which is work on the TCL tool command language, okay. In the I rule, whatever features you don't have in your F5, and you want to do you want to play with the traffic, or you want to for example, you have one network 192.168.10.0/24, and other network you have 192.168 uh, 20.0, right, /24, or maybe 172.16.x.x.24, or maybe 10.26.1.0/24. And you want to define that okay, if traffic is coming from this subnet, right, my traffic will pass to pool 1, and traffic is coming from this network. If this is the source, the traffic will move to the pool 2. If this, pool 3. If this, pool 4, right? Even though if you want to reject something, you can also do with the I rule, right? If you want to redirect, right, you can do with the I rule. If lots of features we have in the I rule. So once we will learn, we will cover I rule. So you will learn more about what is the I rule and what is the beauty of I rule, right? HA and cluster. So HA is nowadays if you are using the F5 LTM, right, and you have 1,000 application or your LTM module, right? You are doing load balancing on the 1,000 of application, right? And you are using only the single F5, right? Here you have the server 1, server 2, server 3, right? And here you have the client 1, client 2, client 3. This is the basic topology, right? I'm just creating. So user this F5 is healthy and everything is working fine. So user accessing the backend services, they are just hitting to F5, and F5 is passing the traffic to the backend server, and you are getting the response, right? But in case this F5 is down, so your all 1,000 application will be down, right? So this is not a good topology, or this is not a good design, right? So nowadays what we are doing, and everyone is doing, right? So they are just adding the 2 F5, or even the other devices, right? So it's your F5 one, and this is your F5 2, right? It may be your standby, it may be your active, right? They are connected each other, and here you have the source, switch, one switch connect to this one. Here you have also switch and this one. So now if your active standby down in some issue, you maybe some hardware issue, or maybe this is configured on your VM environment, right? Okay, so this F5, for example, you are using the VMware. Okay, you have the cluster 1 and you have the cluster 2, right? So what you did, you configure your active standby on the cluster 2, and or we can say cluster 1, and this is we consider cluster 2, right? And you have the standby on the cluster 2, right? Both cluster are working fine. For example, this active unit shut down, maybe there is some VMware issue or something. So the other cluster is working fine, and your F5, which is right now the standby, it will be moved to the active state. Okay, so there will be no impact for the end user, right? So that's the reason we are using the device and then the redundancy, so which is called HA. So we will discuss how we can configure the HA, what is the prerequisite to configure the HA, right? And on this we will discuss what is the self IP, right? And what is the floating IP, right? Where we need to use self IP, in which case we need to use floating IP, right? Troubleshooting. So troubleshooting is not a the small topic. So once we will start our journey, right, and till end, everywhere if we stuck, okay, and we will face any issue, we need to do the troubleshooting, right? So we will cover everything, if we face any issue regarding configuration, or if we are facing that we designed this topology in this way but it's not working, then we need to do the troubleshooting, and we need to understand, right? IFs. So IFs is the features that for example, you need to configure your Office 365 application on your F5, right? So we have the predefined template, and for example, you are doing this on Office 365 configuration manually. Okay, it will may take 6 hour or 8 hour, right? But with the template, you can do it 10 to 20 minutes, because it's a predefined template. Okay, you need to just provide the IP and whatever the required details you need. So you need to provide, and you need to just click next, yes, yes, yes. Okay, so this is the IFs features. Administrator, so we will discuss everything, how we can manage our device, how we can create the users, okay, and how we can provide the access. For example, we have the team who is only monitoring your F5, right? And this is your L1 team, and you have also L2 team, and you have also L3 team, or maybe you have also the team, those are managing the certificate part, right? So we need to create the user for read only, so that they can they can only view, but they can't do any modification, right? If we have the L2 tool, we can provide some access maybe on the GUI, but not on the CLI. On L3 we will provide everything, okay. And for the certificate, renewal team, we can provide the access that okay, you can only renew the certificate with your user privilege, right? So these type of users we can configure. Command line. So command line is basically that whatever we can do in the GUI. For example, we need to create a virtual, right? Or for example, we need to configure management IP. So we can do with the GUI, we can do with the CLI as well, right? If you want to upgrade, right? So for example, right now you are using 15 version and you want to move to the 16 version, right? So you can do it with this GUI, you can do with the CLI, right? So these are the things. So anyone have any question till now? Yes, no, anything?
Absolutely.
Okay. So let's move further. So this is the some introduction. Okay, I'm audible now, guys. There is any issue or voice lacking or anything?
No.
Okay, good. Whenever you will face if voice lacking or something you are not able to understand, just stop me. I can revise the things. Okay, so this is the introduction of the big IP F5. Okay, so big IP F5 LTM, okay, is an application delivery controller or domain controller, and that manage the delivery of the application and services, right? So LTM is basically ensure that your applications will be delivered to the end user in the fast way, secure, and without any issue. F5 F5 big IP can deploy and use as a physical hardware or virtual machines as well. Or virtual maybe your on premises or maybe cloud, right? So so for example, uh, if we talked about physical, and here we have virtual on premises, and here virtual on cloud, right? So for physical, you need to just order the your book from F5 that okay, I need to purchase this book, right? And you will receive one box, right? Which will be your physical box. And now that everyone is moving to the virtual, right? They don't want to keep hardware on on their data center. I'm not denying that okay that we don't no need to use the hardware. I'm just saying so if you required, you can buy the physical box. But if you want to deploy the VM, okay, virtual box on your environment, so you can also deploy so if you are using the VM where cluster, right? So you can deploy the virtual machine with the file of OVA, okay, on your virtual. And after that you can configure. And on this case the image, the OVA file you can download free from the F5 website, right? But once you will do the provisioning and you need to do the license this box, so you need to buy the license from F5, right? But in our case, so what is the beauty of also F5? They are giving the trial license, okay, so that we can do the lab. Okay, so we will discuss how we can raise, how we can create the account, and how we can raise the trial license request, so that you have the license and you can perform your lab, right? So coming to the physical or virtual deployment types. So here we can deploy, and also nowadays we can deploy the F5 on the AWS, Google Cloud platform, right? And whatever the other platform you have. So we can deploy physically, virtually. Virtual means internal, on premises, also on the cloud environment, right? F5 has multiple modules that are designed to fulfill each requirement as below. So we discussed, right, that F5 has multiple modules. So this is your local traffic manager, right? Which is called LTM in the short form. So if we talked about the other module, the GTM, right? So GTM is nothing but it's a global traffic manager, right? Similar we have the ASM. So it's an application security manager. And in the F5 terms, we say advanced web. So advanced web application firewall. Okay. So here, you can save your application from DDoS attack or unwanted threats, right? Here we have also access policy manager, and also we discuss SSLO and other modules as well, right? But here, as we discussed, we are covering only on LTM module, right? So these are the some objectives of the LTM. So you see fast, secure, and available. So perform multiple server tasks and reduce the workload of the backend server so that backend servers can perform faster with less resources utilization. Right? Example of SSL. So for example, you have server one, you have server two, right? And maybe server three. Here your F5 is configured and F5 connected to your servers. And here you have client one, client two, client three, and these all are connected to F5, right? And for so here we are just keeping the example of SSL offloading, right? So if you do the SSL offloading, okay, on this one, so what you can do, right? If you are using 443 at the front end, from here to here you are using 443, and here to here on the back end you are using 80, means HTTPS and HTTP. So your front end is 100% secure now, because attackers or no one attack or do the means anything in the inside. Everyone the unwanted person or the hacker, they are just hacking the website from outside, right? So what we did here, we keep our website with the certificate which where we are using the 443, right? So what you can do, your traffic will be secure, okay, from a client to F5. But once your traffic land to the F5, it will be encrypt, decrypt, and from F5 to the backend server, it will be your plain traffic, right? So here we see HTTPS and HTTP, right? The second thing, secure. So provide secure connection between the user and application server with the proxy setup. So this is if you see I created the boundary this one, right? So here we have the proxy setup, here we have the one connection from client to F5, okay, and from F5 to the backend server it will be your new connection, right? And helpful in preventing DDoS attack to the backend server, right? As it is a proxy setup and user may not have the visibility about the backend server. So what here we want to say, so for example, this is your F5 and this is your server one, this is your server two, this is your server three, this is your 10.1.1.10, 1.20, 1.30. Here we configured the BIP, right, with the IP 10.1.1.100. And here you have the user 172.16.x.x, right? The similar user 172.16 maybe the something IP, right? So this is the client two, this is the client one. So once user want to access any services from this the servers, so they will only know the your BIP IP, right? So for example, nowadays everyone is accessing google.com, right? Or in the other terms we can say GUI-net, right? So what is the backend server IP? Definitely no, right? Because on the BIP end, what we did, this BIP IP, virtual IP, we are binding with the DNS, right? So for example, this IP is binded with the google.com, right? So you will see only this IP. You will never know what is the behind the servers we have and what is the IP, right? So this is the beauty, and your environment will be 100% secure, right? Availability. So monitor the health status of the backend server, load balancing of the traffic among the available server, direct or redirect the specific request to the appropriate resources, intercept and inspect, transform the request from the user response server, right? So if we talked about availability, right? So again, we need to define the topology. And here we have the server one, server two, and server 3, right? So and we configured the round robin load balancing algo, right? So in the round robin, what happening, like, once this user will send the request, okay, it will go to this one, then next request go to this one, the next request, right? So in the round robin, like, again your fourth, this connection, this one, fifth, this one, sixth, this one. But what happened, like, this server is down, and who will, like, monitor, and who will know, like, to the client or to F5 that this server is down, right? So here, like, your monitors will come into picture, right? So monitor will, like, keep track of, okay, this server is down, right? So once client request will be, like, learn to the F5, F5 will say, okay, I will not send any traffic to this one because this server is doing, so is down, right? So it will send, like, request to first request this one, second this one, third this one, fourth this one, fifth this one, sixth one. But yeah, in between, like, because it's keep tracking, like, this server. So once this server will come up, okay, so it will send, like, the 7 request here, 8 here, 9 here, 10, 11, 12. So availability means if your one server is down, your application will never down, right? Your application is still up and, like, live, right? So for example, you have any critical website, right? So and you don't want to, like, that keep down, like, for example, if we talked about, like, Flipkart, everyone know, like, what is the Flipkart, right? Or any shopping website, right? So what they are doing, like, they are not doing, like, that, okay, we have only two servers, if these are down and our Flipkart website will be down. No, they have, like, maybe 100 servers, right? Maybe 20 servers are down, right? But still 80 servers are up and running fine, and they are, like, taking all traffic request. So anyone have any question till now, or whatever, like, we are discussing, you are able to understand? Any doubt or anything, like, you want to revise or you want to discuss more? Okay, I'm taking your silence as okay. So TMOS, like, traffic management operating system, right? So F5 has a special operating system known as TMOS, right? Traffic management operating system. TMOS has undefined intelligence, flexibility, and strong programmability that make F5 a most powerful platform, right? So it's based on, like, the Unix platform. Okay. So this will be, like, your the initial, like, on the setup, or we can say components, like you need to do the management interface configuration, then you need to do the license, right? Then module provisioning, then you need to configure the VLAN, you need to identify the interfaces, you need to configure your self IP and the floating IP, right? And you need to, like, so in the production environment, like, we need to configure, like, these things as well, DNS, right? DNS, NTP server, SNMP also, right? So NTP is basically, like, to keep, like, the device time, okay, time zone, right? Everything, so that if, like, something went wrong, we can identify the logs with the timestamp, right? DNS also, like, for domain, like, name resolution. As SNMP, like, basically, like, to configure that if we are, like, configuring anything, like, to for monitoring purpose, right? So for example, we have any, like, alert on the F5, right? So we will integrate the tool, like, maybe Splunk, or maybe, like, the suppression manager, or maybe other, like, HPOMI or other tools, right? So you can just add and you can just configure the SNMP. So whatever the alert you will get on your F5, right? And if this is the critical alert, like, it will be, like, if you have the integration and all, like, your ticket will be open, right? Maybe you will receive the incident, right? And this is, if this is something informational, right, you will receive the email. So for these purpose, we are configuring the SNMP. Every the components we need to configure it. So now if we talked about the F5 deployment modes, okay, so we can configure the F5s in the different mode, right? So this is 1 hour mode, this is the 2 hour mode, right? So and this is your N path, right? Or we also say direct server return, right? So let me give you the example of the 1 hour, okay? So in this 1 hour mode, you see in this mode only one interface of F5 load balancer. So if you see this mode, okay, 1 hour. So what we are doing, right? We have this is your end user environment here, your L2 switch, here maybe L3 switch, right? And here maybe again L2 switch, maybe firewall, right? And maybe again switch, and here maybe your servers, right? Just giving you some example, right? This is your existing topology. But now you have the requirement of the F5, right? And what you did, you just configure the box here as a F5, but you are using the only one interface. So this is called you are using for inbound or outbound, or we can say incoming or outgoing, right? So but we are using only one interface. So one interface means 1 arm only we are using. So this is simple to implement, right? Your virtual IP means BIP should be in the same subnet, right? Server backend node default gateway is no F5 load balancer. So for example, when you don't have this, okay. So right now you have only these servers, right? So these servers have something gateway, maybe your L3 switch, right? Or router in between if you have, right? So they have the gateway of these servers, right? But now you added the F5 as well, right? So you will not change if you have the 1,000 servers, so you will not do any configuration change at all, right? So that's the reason if you see server means backend node, default gateway is no F5 router. It can be router, your firewall, or maybe other switcher as well, right? In the 1 hour mode, right? So this is the one example here we have kept, okay.
That one arm mode is not clear. Could you please come again?
So you want to understand the 1 arm again?
Yeah, it's not clear.
Okay. So in the 1 arm mode, if you have the existing topology, right? For example, this is your internal network, right? Here you have this switches, right? It may be L2 switch, right? Here you have the router. Here you have the firewall. Interface, right? From here, and you can configure your F5 here, right? So what you are using, only one interface. It may be 1.1 here. Sorry. And here, you are using GIG 0/5, right? 1, 2, 3 you are using, or maybe 4 also using, but here we are using 5, right? So before F5, when you don't have the F5 in your network, right? You have the server only. So what you can do means you should have the gateway on these servers, right? So the gateway may be your router IP, maybe you have the firewall gateway, maybe you have something, right?
Right.
So so you don't want to change, like, if you have the 1,000 servers, right? You don't want to change the configuration on your network, right? You added the F5, right? And on the F5 side, you need to do something so that, like, so assume, like, here we have one client, right? So your traffic come to this one, okay? Come this one, and let me draw in the different, okay? So your traffic come to, like, reach to the devices, come to firewall, come to switch, land to F5, right? F5 just forward your traffic to switch, and it's like, reach out to the server where your application is hosted, right? And once, like, this server will respond, so this server have the gateway of this router. So what happened now? Your server will respond to F5 or router,
Yeah, for the routing that it will go through that, it will try to reach the router.
right? But
It
if it will
bypassing
be
the
moved to
F5.
the router, that, like, your request will be completed,
No, it is not completed.
you will receive reset packet, right?
Yeah.
So what we need to do, we need to do something on the F5 side so that your, now let me choose, like, different color. So for example, this one. Now your request is coming, like, here, moving to the here, here, and now it's land to the F5 and F5 to the switch and move to the server, right? Now we configured something on the F5, right? Then your request will be come to switch. It will send to the F5. Then F5 will be revert back to the your client, right? But this is the, like, topology we need to configure when you have the existing environment already. Then we are using the 1R mode, right? Understood? We will do the, like, the lab as well. Okay, so don't worry. Okay, so in the 1R mode, we will use only one interface, right? So one second.
The question is like, I mean, the servers are landing on the L3 switches or L2 switches. That is not a big deal, but the gateway would be like, I mean, it would be like, I mean, L3 or L3 switches, or it could be the next device, hop devices of firewall, and it could be, or I mean, you can configure if you place the FI in between the original servers and the switches. So switches in
Mhm.
between FI and original servers. Either it could be the gateway could be the like it will be configured in L3 switch or in F5. So first scenario we will take the gateway is configured in the L3 switch for the servers.
Right.
So the user is trying to access the servers, available servers. So it
Mhm.
comes through that external router. The router it pass the traffic to the firewall. The firewall will traffic pass the traffic to the this one L3 switch, and then the L3 switch will forward the traffic to F5. This is I mean physical data, physical traffic, how it flows. Like, I mean, fire router and firewall, and then L3 switch, and then it goes
So
to
let
F5.
me, I have just dropped one topology. Okay. So you are able to see the topology.
Yeah, I can see.
Mostly we have these type of designs, right? Maybe we have the different devices, but, like, in client, we, like, client is connected to, like, any switch, which is the L2 switch, right? Or maybe L3 switch, but we need to change the interface configuration, right?
That's it.
Right. And so we have L3, we have the firewall, we have the switches, right? This type of the basic topology we have, right?
Correct.
And on the firewall, we are using, like, here, like, 10.26 1.100 IP, right? And
Yeah.
here we are using 10.26 1.12, right? This is your L2 switch, right? Simple. And on the L3, maybe, like, we have the different IP, maybe, like, 1.150, right?
Yeah.
But on these servers, we have the gateway and we have the subnet, like, /24. I hope everyone know, like, what is the /24. And we have the gateway, right? 10.26 1.100, right? So what is happening right now? Client initiate the connection, it goes to this one, right? Now this one. Now your firewall, you have like the every configuration on the firewall, right? Now go to the switch and switch like pass the traffic like whatever server we have requested, right? So once like the server will respond like it will respond to this firewall, right? Because we have the gateway, and then move to here, then move to here, and then move to here. But as we are discussing like what happened like if we configured the F5 here, right? So here we have the BIP, right? Virtual IP, right? Maybe virtual IP you have like 10, 26, or maybe different IP, right? Any other IP. So your traffic like come here on these devices here, and it will definitely go to your BIP, right? And your BIP check, okay, I have the backend server which is this one, right? So it will send the traffic to here, and your traffic will come here, right? Now what server will try? Server will like take send to response to the firewall, right?
Yeah,
Because we have the gateway firewall
as per the default route
route.
domain.
Yeah.
Yeah, then it will
So,
get it to firewall.
right.
Yeah, correct.
So on the F5, like what we can do, we can use the SNet, right? So we will do the practical, don't worry, right?
Yeah, SNAT with that, I mean, the different IP address, the different
Right.
subnet, which
So what
is
we can
having.
do, like we can take like one IP from the if we knew if we can use like we can use auto map. So what would be your self IP, like it will be translated with your self IP. But yeah, if you are using the SNet pool, so you need to like keep one or two IP from your the same VLAN, and you need to create the pool, and your the pool IP like will be translated, and then your traffic will be like leave from here.
That's fine, but I just want to understand that is SNAT is a different concept, right? That is what my concerns
Right,
like.
right,
If not,
right.
I mean, SNAT is a different concerns. Whatever the traffic is coming through that file, then we are doing the NAT travel. We are
Right,
doing the
right. So
NAT.
NAT is the different in the F5, and SNAT is the different.
Yeah,
Okay.
here I would like to understand that one terms. That is, I mean, bit confused here. So where it is one arm is a different kind of uh, method or type, or what is the major role of that one arm. So
So
that is what
for
I would like.
example, okay. For example, uh, you have the client. Okay, just assume. Okay, this is the F5, and here you have the server, server one, server two. So which type of deployment this? This is the two arm, right?
Yeah, we have two legs, like, I mean, one is
Right.
connected
This is
to
your
client,
internal interface, or this is your
one is
external
connected to
interface,
external interface, correct.
right? So in this case, these servers mostly have the gateway of your floating IP. If
Okay.
okay, but in the single arm, we are using only so what in the single arm, what we are using, we have client, we have switch, we have servers, right? Server one. This is the switch. This is our topology, right? Traffic going here, traffic coming here, right? Right now, but after like sometimes we have the requirement of the F5. So we configure the F5 with one interface, right? So here what we are using? We are using one interface only. So our traffic is going with this interface only and coming with this interface only, right?
Yeah.
So here we need to use the SNAT.
Okay.
You will like I think right now you are not able to understand, but definitely like once we will do the practical okay in the lab, you will learn.
Yeah,
Don't
now
worry.
I understand. So that we are using the same interface for, I mean, receiving and
Right,
transmitting the
right,
traffic
right, right.
over the
That's
SNAT.
that's the
SNAT.
reason. That's the reason you see we are saying one arm. One means arm is you are using your one hand only.
Okay. Yeah, now I understood. And what about that floating IP? Floating IP is like HSRP IP, or, I mean, like,
Yeah. So you are good. So if you remember, like we configure the HSRP right on this Cisco devices, right?
yeah.
So for example, we have like the core one, we have the core two, right? Here we have like 10, 26, 1 dot 99, right? Here we have 10, 26, 1 dot 98, right? And here we configure the virtual IP, which is the HSRP, which is your 10.26.1.100, right? So what happened, this is just virtual IP, right?
Yeah,
So
correct.
every backend server or they have the gateway only your virtual IP,
Virtual IP.
right? So this is same the HSRP and floating IP we are using here. Okay. So floating IP, if you have the F5.1 and this is F5.2, right? So you have the self IP 10.1.1.100, 10.1.1.101, right? So they have the different self IP, right? But floating IP only would be the single on both. So it may be 10.1.1.150. It would be the same on this device, same on this device, right? We have the HSRP.
Okay,
Any
so
doubt now?
yeah, it's applicable only when we are using HA. I mean HA.
Right.
So
So
that's standard. Yeah.
yeah. So whenever you are doing failover, your floating IP will be moved to the active device.
Yeah, yeah. That it will
Okay.
be in the floating IP will be changed to that secondary. Yeah.
Right. 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 Can we move further, or still we have any question?
Yeah, so far nothing. So only thing is like that self IP which you are saying that. I mean, so when we are doing the NAT, I mean static NAT, we can use the self IP, that the device interface IP, for whatever the traffic is coming to.
So whenever we are using auto map, okay, we will use self IP.
Okay.
And if we are using pool, so whatever IP we have under the pool, we are using the IP, pool IP, right?
When we are using auto map, so
So under
can
the
you?
SNet, okay, we have the options once you configure the SNet, you have the option auto map, you have the option SNet pool, and the third option none. So accordingly your topology, you need to decide which SNet is fit your topology.
Okay, understood.
That's we will learn here, okay?
Okay, fine then.
You will not learn everything in the in the demo class, okay? Don't worry. So we will, when we will do the practical, definitely I'm 100% sure, because we will do the lab again and again, right? This is not a single lab that okay, we just perform the and we just so okay. Okay, let's move further. So this is the 2R mode, okay? So we use more than one interface.
You're not audible.
Sorry, yeah, no, actually I was on mute. Okay. So once we talked about 2R mode, so what we are doing, we are using our two hand, right? So here you see we use more than one interface of F5 load balancer. Virtual IP address not be in the same subnet. Backend server gateway is F5 load balancing, your floating IP. See, floating IP. Asymmetric routing does not occur in this method. Client IP address is retained, right? So let me give you the example. So here you see, we have consider this is your F5, right? So here we have the internal interface and this is your external interface, right? So this is for example, we are deploying a new topology in company, right? So here we have client, here we configured switch, right? Here we configured the L3 switch, here we have the firewall, here we configured the F5, right? Here we have the again switch, Here we have the server, right? So here we configure the floating IP, right? And this floating IP on these servers, we have gateway IP, right? So now what is happening, like, traffic is coming in this way, F5, and F5 send the traffic to, for example, this server. Now server have the gateway of F5, so your traffic reach out to the F5, and F5 will, like, validate, inspect whatever he need to do. It will check, and, like, it will, like, move your traffic back to the client with the full means with your fulfill request, right? So in the two-arm mode, we will use two interfaces, right? So this is, like, the very important question. If, like, someone, like, from you, like, give an interview of the F5, right? They have, like, some, like, questions like, what is the one arm or two arm mode? Okay, what is the self IP and floating IP? The third question, they also interested, what is the SNET and how it's work. Then they can ask, like, the about, like, cookies persistence or persistence, right? So these type question, but these two three question definitely, like, every interviewer ask nowadays. Okay, so and this is, like, the end path, direct server return. So no one is, like, I have, like, the 15-year experience in IT industry, right? In the different uh, technology, and F5 I have also, like, rich experience. So, and nowadays, like, I'm using, like, 150 plus F5, right? So I have never, like, see this topology. Okay, I'm only see the one arm and two arm only. I'm not able to see, like, this topology, but yeah, in this course, like, we have this topology, so that's the reason I'm just covering. Okay, so you see, it's similar to the one arm mode, only one interface used. Virtual IP also should be in the same subnet. Backend node-based gateway is not F5. It may be your router and firewall. In this mode, we don't use SNet, right? We don't use SNet. So traffic goes to directly to router and firewall. Asymmetric routing occurs in this mode. Client IP address retained, right? So we have this similar as one arm, right? But here we will not use SNet, right? So we will do the practical of this one as well. But we will, like, learn deep dive the both first, your one arm and your two arm.
Sir, I
On
have the
this
one
one,
question, sir.
yeah,
The last point, client IP address is retained. This means that the server has the client IP information.
this one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So this is, like, mm, I will, like, means give you the practical, okay, give you the practical things in the lab, okay, so that you will, like,
Definitely, of
understand.
course, because
Yeah,
client IP only
Okay, sir.
knows the destination server will try to reach the like, actual
right,
source, and then it will pass the traffic to that gateway. Then asymmetric routing will be happen.
right.
It won't come back to the F5. It will try to reach the default route which is configured in the server. Definitely, the server knows that client IP address. Because of that, it is reaching the gateway.
Okay, okay. For the time being, just, like, don't deep dive to in this one, okay. No one even ask, like, from interview perspective as well, right? So just, like, just, like, we are just keeping this point because we have, like, in the our course content. That's the reason. But no one, like, ask the question from this one, definitely. So it's, like, this is the topology of the end path. You see, traffic come to F5, send to the backend server. Now they have the gateway here, and router send the traffic to this one. right? Now, if we talked about the what is load balancing, right? So as we discussed load balancing method. So I told you this is the just heading, okay, but we have the sub points static method, dynamic method, failure mechanism. So load balancing is a method of distributing the workload to available resources, right? So for example, we are using static method, right? You will not see static method. You will see only this option: round robin, ratio, least connection, fastest object, right? So for example, mostly people are using the error, right? Ratio also people are using, and priority group also using, right? Least connection, this one. But people mostly using the RR. So in RR, what happened this is the client, this is the client. These are further connected to your F5, and F5 further connected to the server one, server two, right? So now in the RR, one request will be moved to here, the second here, third here, fourth here, fifth here, sixth here, right? But if you talked about the ratio, so we need to configure the, for example, the servers we have, right? So 1, 2, 3, and we configure the ratio like 3 to 1, right? So your three requests come to this one, to this one this one. So how it will be moved? So one request move this server, second this server, third this server. Now your fourth request come to this server, fifth this server. So tell me where your sixth request will become? Here, here, or here? So your six connection request will become to here, right? So if you see now we have the three request on this one, two request on this one, and one request on this one. So this is ratio 3 to 1, right? So these are the the load balancing method. Okay, we will do the practical in our lab, right? So see round robin. If you want to read the definition, so round robin is the default load balancing method on the big IP system. Okay, each new connection is sent to the next pool member, right? Whatever the available pool member is available. Round robin load balancing method work best when all the pool members have this in the equal capacity, right? Maybe RAM, everything processor and also, right? Asymmetric routing occurs without SNAT, right? Client IP address is not returned, means change. So let me give you the example of this one. So you see that first request come to this one, second come to this one, third this one, fourth again this server, fifth this, sixth this, seventh this, eighth this, and your nine request come to here, right? But if we talked about the ratio, right? In the ratio, you see, we configured the ratio at 3 to 1, right? So your three request, your first request come here on the first server, and your second request come to second server, third come to third server. Now fourth request come to one server, fifth request come to second server, but your sixth request not come to the third server, right? Your sixth request come to the one server, right? Then your seventh request again will be come to the first server, and eighth second server, ninth third server, 10th first server, 11th second server, then 12 to the first server, right? So in this case, what we are assuming that okay, the server one have the high configuration, and here we have the mid configuration, and here we have the low resources, right? So the server who have the high resources or high configuration, it can manage the number of connections, more number of connections, right? So uh, it managing three, and it's managing two, and it's managing one server, right? So these are the method So we will learn like, the other way, fastest, weighted, exam. These are the some examples like, then we will understand like, the monitors as well. So these types of like, the things we will cover in the our course content. Okay. So if you want to like, give like already Bisal sir told like, what we will cover. So you see, these the things we will cover like, introduction, like, what is the node, what is the pool, what is the pool member, and how we can configure the pool member, virtual server, like, type of deployment, right? One arm, two arm, right? How we can configure the self IP, floating IP. And in while you configure the like, the self IP and floating IP, there is one option like, port lockdown. So what is the meaning of like, this options like, why we are using the default, why we are using none and all? What is the load balancing, right? And their method. So these are the some methods, right? And here, like, if you see, like, we have the monitor. This is the kind of network map. So if you click the network map, if you want to, like, someone ask that, okay, I want to know, like, we have this virtual, okay, I want to know what is the pool configure on this one and what is the pool members configure on this one and which service we are using, right? Maybe 443, maybe 8080, right? Maybe 80, whatever. So with the network map, like, you can like, grab the all things with the like, single click and you can provide the details to the requester, right? Then F5 profile introduction, like it may be your the SSL profile and other profile, right? So these are the like, profile. Then we have the net, right? Right. So let me just scroll. Okay. And then we will like, we'll talk about like, the SNet, right? Then we will talk about SSL, right? Then priority group, fallback host mechanism, right? If you're like, you configure the one website, right? For example, google.com. And if it's down, like, your traffic will be moved to the other device. So for example, sometimes you see like, that we are trying to access any website and it's showing like, this website is under maintenance, right? So we can like, configure these things, right? And so one connect mechanism, logging, we will discuss SNMP, TCP dump. So whenever you faced any issue, right? Okay, and you see, for example, that okay, we have one particular server, and here like, the we have three servers, server 2, server 3, right? So the request, like, the traffic, like, coming to these servers but not coming to this server. So we can like, take TCP dump, okay, and we can see like, where is the issue. So we will do these things as well. And CLI access, we will discuss like, how we can configure the things with the CLI as well, and we can like, capture the traffic and everything. I rule, right? So we discuss like, we can, this is the script or the language like, where we can like, write the script to like, divert the traffic, right? And the other features as well. And here we will like, use the high availability for the redundancy purpose. And we will like, discuss like, what is the difference between offline, like, if we disabled any BIP, or for example, like, uh, if we like, did offline. So what is the difference between disabled and offline? We will discuss like, what is the QK view, UCS, and here we will also discuss SCF, right? And how like, we can take the UCS and how we can restore. So UCS, like, basically, like, you can take the complete backup, and whenever like, you made any changes right on your device and you saved, and after that you realize that okay, whatever changes I have made, these are the like, impacting to my like, the current environment. So you can like, restore the backup from the UCS, right? Here like, user creation and partition. So partition, like, for example, you are managing two client, right? For example, this is your client one, and this is your client 2. Maybe this is your Airtel client and this is your Vodafone client. So you can create the partition on your F5, and on the Airtel partition, you will see the Airtel related configuration, right? And on the Vodafone, you will see the Vodafone related configuration. So means you divided your device into the two part, right? And the troubleshooting, the everything will be come under the troubleshooting from start to the end. So that's it for today. Anyone have any question we can discuss? Otherwise, we can bind up this session.
Yeah, I have one question. So, like when we are discussing about that SNMP part, the device, whatever the alert which is generated,
Right,
can we restricted I mean, certain type of alert should be passed to that external monitoring tool. Can we?
right. So for example, in this lab, this is not possible, Usman. Okay, I don't know I'm pronouncing your name correct, Muhammad or Usman. So it's while you configure the SNMP, right? And you integrated you added any monitoring tool, for example Splunk, right? And Splunk is further connected to your service now, for example, or any ticketing tool, right? So for example, you F5 device found any critical alert, right? It's sent to the Splunk, and Splunk will send to the service now, and service now it will create the incident, or it may be your P2 incident accordingly, your criticality, P2, P3 as well. But yeah, we can do the integration. But in this lab, we don't have this service now. We don't have this tool. So, but yeah, I
Yeah, I
can
can
guide you
understand.
how we can configure the things. Yeah.
I can understand. My question is, can we restrict like the certain type of, for example, critical and warning, critical high.
Yeah.
So
So
these
you are saying if we receive critical alert. So if you don't want to send to the Splunk, you are saying that one.
critical and high alert only have to send to any
Uh,
third-party tool. Other than that, informations and all not at all required. So
yeah.
can
Yeah.
we
So you can do. Yeah, you can do that.
that configuration has to be done at F5 side, right?
F5 site.
Okay, fine then.
Yeah. Anyone away? Abhishek, Anurag, Vasudev, Hirak, or who joined with Jiomi. So anyone have any other question?
No.
Okay, that's good.
No,
So thanks everyone for joining. Yeah, you want to say something?
nothing. Thank you.
Okay. So that's it for today. I think we are good. So Vishal sir, if you are there, okay. And this session will be in the English only. Okay. So because those are maybe we have some people's those are interested in Hindi, but nowadays if you need to give an interview or something everyone is asking in the English. Okay, so best is whatever you learn, okay, try to learn in the English. But yeah, we have also planned to the cover up the Hindi batch in the next batch. So we will cover next batch in Hindi only, but this batch will be only in English, right? So you can I don't know what's your name, Jiomi. So okay, so English this is your English batch, okay, and but next batch will be in Hindi. So you can talk to the counselor, right? Okay, anyone have any other question? Okay, I think we are good.
Person?
Yes. So you have any question?
Is this going to be on English alone?
Say again.
Is it gonna be on English?
Yeah,
English
this
class?
will be on
Okay.
English only. Yeah.
Okay.
When will be the next session?
So if you want to go with Hindi or what English?
English.
English.
Yeah.
So English, we are conducting this session in English only.
No, that's what. When would be next session?
So
Second.
next session, once this batch will be completed, then we will plan for next. So
Okay.
we will cover we need at least 2 months, 30 to 35, 30 to 35 hours. We will take to cover up this LTM module.
Okay.
So the next session will be on Saturday, right?
Right.
Okay.
So this will be your weekend batch, Saturday,
Yeah.
Sunday.
Okay. Understood. Thank you, Aravind.
Okay.
Thanks for your session.
Okay. Thanks everyone.